Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Enlightened World's Acknowledge, Release, and Heal workshop. I'm Teri Angel, and I want to introduce, first I want to say hello to Dr. Ruth Anderson and Deb Goldberg with Enlightened World, and thank you so much for being with us and for this wonderful platform that we have to broadcast over. And then I want to introduce the presenters today, Jeryl Anne, Heather Dell. Can you come on and say hello?
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you.
And Kevin Morris is with us. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's so good to be here. This workshop is one that is so needed right now, and that's how it was born, is out of that need to look at our feelings that we're going through at this time, that this is good for any time that you're experiencing a challenge in life and what happens with it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in the introduction. I do want to let you know kind of the agenda of what to expect today. So first, Jeryl Anne will address the feelings, some of the feelings that you might be going through, whether it's this challenge or another challenge in life. There's going to be all this emotion that comes up. So she's going to be showing you a graph and walking you through what some of those could be. And while she's doing that, I want you to really see if any of them are speaking to you, if they resonate with you. And then I'll come on and I'll lead us through, let's do a release of that. Whatever emotion came up for you, we'll do a release process. And then Kevin will come in after that, and he's going to do a Angelic Reiki treatment for us. And it's a beautiful experience. If you've never done it before, you're in for a treat. If you have done it before, you're in for another treat. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Jeryl Anne and have her start acknowledging. That's the first part of healing anything in us, is to acknowledge it. Jeryl Anne?
Thank you so much, Teri. And Teri, you're right. And I think as light workers, healers, those of us who have been in the spiritual community for a long time, we have come under the misconception maybe that we see a bigger picture, that we see things from a higher perspective, and so that we oftentimes negate our feelings. We think, oh, well, I really shouldn't pay attention to that because, I can see the bigger picture and I want to rise above it. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for any of us. It is so necessary in these unprecedented times that we acknowledge the grief, because quite honestly, we are not only grieving the death of the world and of life as we've known it, but we're also grieving the deaths of family members, loved ones, friends. We are grieving on so many different levels in so many different ways. And so what I wanted to present everyone here is just that. And I want to just give you a quick background on the two people that really brought to the forefront this information. The first one, most of you know, is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she is the pioneer of death and dying and the 5 stages of grief. There's a man by the name of David Kessler who worked with her for a very long time, up until the time she died, and also co-wrote, at least I know, one book with her. And he came up with the 6th. Elizabeth was the 5 stages of grief. He came up with the 6th. I didn't know there was a 6th step. And he just released a book on the 6th step of grieving. And so what I want to go over with you all here today are those 6 steps. And let me put this graphic up, and then I'm going to get out of the way and let you all see this, okay? So here's what we've got. And in essence, this is what's going on. We have these 6 stages of grief. And I want to say a couple of things about that. Number one, these stages are not linear. We can go back and forth from one stage to the next. We can be in one stage go to another one and have to come back to the previous one. Um, all of the stages do are really reflect where we're at. So for me, in the very, very beginning of this virus outbreak, and as it first came to the United States and into our awareness, I was in denial. And I even still sometimes go back to that. And that's, we're kind of in avoidance of what's really happening. We were in a lot of confusion as to what it was, some elation in that kind of that nervousness. That's kind of a weird emotion for me anyway. And then shock, and then we went into fear. And a lot of people are in fear right now. And that's, I think, one of the main emotions that we kind of jump in and out of. We're in it and then we kind of pull ourselves out. And then there's that anger, with the frustration and the irritation and the anxiety. I've noticed that a lot of people who are usually pretty calm and happy-go-lucky are kind of snarky and different things are going on. It's just a response. It's just a response to the grief that they're feeling. And then we get into bargaining, which is a struggle to find some meaning in what's going on. And we reach out to others, we start telling our story about, because, it's like, okay, God, here's what I'm doing. Why is this happening? And we try to bargain. And when that doesn't work, oftentimes we go into depression because we're feeling overwhelmed. We feel this sense of helplessness. We lose this. We've lost our control. We've lost our control over where we can go, what we can do. There are so few things right now we actually have control over. So it makes us feel very, very helpless. And helpless in the sense too that we have loved ones, if we have loved ones that get sick or friends that get sick, and we want to protect those people we love. And then there can be some hostility in that depression. On the flip side of depression and sadness can be anger. And then that need to fly, just that fight or flight response. And it's like you want to run away. And then we kind of get into acceptance. And that's, when you hit stages of acceptance, you're looking at your options, okay, so here's where we're at. This is what's going on. Where can I go from here? What can I do? And also that's part of putting a new plan in place for moving on. But the stage that hasn't been really looked at, is just now recently come out with David Kessler, is meaning. And what we're going to find is that when we are on the other side of this is one of the stages of our grief, because we are going to go through all of these things as we move through this process. What was the meaning of this? And, where are we going to be after all of this? That's what we're feeling now. But we as a species, we have to have some sense of understanding, and some sense that this has got to have some bigger meaning in my life, or, what's it worth? It's just not worth it. So I would caution everyone in saying this, that acceptance is not a finality. It is a part of the process. And as we go through this, and you may have a friend or a loved one or someone pass, you may lose your job. So many things that we have so taken for granted are changing, and we will never have again as we know it. So be kind with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and please be compassionate with others as well, because we're all there. No one is immune from this, and we're all having to deal with all of these emotions at various times. And so, I like to say, let's cut each other some slack right now. Let's take that extra step and say, okay, everybody's scared, everybody's going through these different phases. Okay, I need to step back and not react to what's going on there. And as we're also going through it, we need that peer support and we need the coping skills. And that's part of what Teri is going to do up next, is give you a coping skill, a way to release, a way to transform. And then of course, Kevin's going to come in with the Angelic Reiki and do that beautiful healing process. And if you'll notice on the bottom of that screen that I have, there is a website called grief.com. And that is David Kessler's website. And again, I said he's the leading guy in the world on grief. And he has this website as a support for those who are really facing intense amounts of grief as far as loss of loved ones. And also at this time, we're not able to be with our loved ones who are in the hospital. We're not able to be there. These are, again, unprecedented times. So we're experiencing grief in ways and on levels that we've never had before. And so these peer groups, support groups, just the social groups online are going to be the things that actually, kind of hold us together through all of this. So I hope you got to see the chart and were able to see maybe where you're holding, which one of those stages that you're in right now. Again, I go back and forth, I kind of bounce around because, as we go through our days and we're weeks into it now, in the beginning I was in denial, and then, something else, some strange thing will happen. And it's so funny because I can flip from anger to depression to acceptance in almost a blink of an eye. And that's it. So don't judge yourself. Allow yourself to be wherever you're at. Don't live in that stage. I would say that as well. Don't camp out there. Just kind of look around and look at your surroundings and go, okay, this is the emotion I'm feeling. This is where I'm at. Now, I want to feel it. I don't want to deny it. I don't want to act like it's not there. Now I need to look at it, release it, and move forward. And so I leave you with that, Teri and everyone. And please, if you're having, some, I know a lot of people are suffering from deaths and that type of thing now. So please go to grief.com as well. It's a great resource for grieving. So I'll tell you what, Teri, I'm going to just step to the side and I'm going to leave this up in case anyone would like to, as we're going through these release processes and that, if they want to come back to the graphic in that. And I'll be off to the side doing the process with you. How's that sound?
Thank you, Jeryl Anne.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
thank you for all of that, for really pointing out how we do go through different emotions in different stages, and it's different for everybody. So if you're saying, okay, well, I'm not in anger, I'm not in denial, I'm not in any of that, it's okay. When we do this release process, we're going to scan so that you can see just where you're at. And if there's any emotions that you want to work on, then that's the time for you to acknowledge those emotions. We're going to be doing a process called release. And I apologize, I forgot to mention to you at the very beginning that it's really good to have a pen and paper for this workshop. With any workshop, it's good to do that. But for this one especially, we're giving you so much information. And of course, you can always listen to it later, but it's good to write down when you resonate with something that we're saying, to write that note down so you can go back and reflect on it later. And as I'm doing this release process, I really hope that you will be able to do the process with me. If not, if it's just too uncomfortable in a public setting, go back and listen to this again in the privacy when it's just you listening to it, to do this release, because it's very important to acknowledge our emotions. So many times we don't give them a voice, we push them down and we say, I'll deal with you later. I can't deal with you right now. So it's important to give the voice to our emotions so that we can release them. In this release, we're going to be using the Ho'oponopono. And you're going to be saying this. I hope all of you are muted. I didn't even check to see if everyone was muted, but if you're not, would you please mute your phones? Because I want you to really experience this, and to experience it fully, you need to bring that emotion out and to verbalize to it this whole Ho'oponopono prayer. It's a prayer, an ancient prayer that came out of Hawaii, and it's about forgiveness. And forgiveness is only letting go. That's what it means. It doesn't mean the typical way we always thought of forgiveness, like we have to forgive somebody for something or we ask for forgiveness. That's not what this is all about. This is about letting go of an energy that's inside of us that is holding us down, because that's what happens when we hold on to things and we're not processing it. So the Ho'oponopono, you can say that word, and that's what it means is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. This is the closest translation that we can get with our English language to what that word means. The word itself carries a very powerful energy just by saying it. It's Ho'oponopono. So if you choose to say that as we're doing the process, that's fine. If you choose to say these 4 statements, that works too. It's the energy of what you're doing, the intention behind your words. That's what spirit recognizes. That's what our subconscious recognizes. So there you go. That's what you're going to be saying, either Ho'oponopono or these 4 statements. So the process, let's go ahead and begin. And the way we're going to begin is with the breath. Many of you know me. You know how I do this. We put our hand on our heart, because wherever you're placing your hand or touching your body, your focus is going to go there. And whenever we're doing any work with our inner child, which we're going to, or with working on ourself, working deeply inside, you want to be heart centered. And that's what we're doing by doing this. You touch your heart center and your focus immediately goes there. You breathe in a deep breath. Let's all do that collectively right now. If you close your eyes, it makes it even more real. And you shut out any distractions. So a deep breath in, hold it, and release it. And the next breath in, you're going to add in some gratitude. Whatever you can find at this time to be grateful for. Being grateful for being alive, grateful for another day, grateful for breath. Whatever it may be, just pull that energy into your heart right now and release that. Feeling your body start to relax a little bit. And as you continue to do that, the deep breathing, I'm going to call in the angels, because that's the ones that gave this process to me to work with and to work with others with, and they are the ones that guide the whole energy release. So I call in Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And Raphael, we ask that you help us all right now to heal what's inside of us, to heal these emotions fully. I call in Archangel Michael, the angel of protection, to come into our presence wherever we are for protection. Help us to feel safe enough to do this inner work, safe enough to open to these emotions that need a voice. And thank you, Michael. I call on Archangel Gabriel to come in and help us to have some clarity, help us to understand what this is all about, what the energy of emotions is all about, and how to do this process. And I call in Archangel Uriel to help ground us as we're doing this. We want to stay very centered as we go in and do this process, which can become quite emotional. If you really go deep and pull out those emotions, you'll see that there may be some tears. There may be some laughter. who knows what the response is? Each of us are unique, so we're going to respond in our own way. And I ask that any other spirit guides, your spirit guides, I want you to call in right now, whoever it is that you talk to. Who do you talk to? Who do you ask to come in to help you spiritually? It may be Jesus, it may be Buddha, it may be any of the ascended masters or your ancestors that are helping you spiritually to open up and to be that wonderful spirit that you are inside of this human existence. Maybe it's directly to God's source energy. So whoever you want to call to help you through this process, let's do that right now. Right now. I call in my healers. It's a collective that comes and works with me to do any healing process. And I feel all of that energy. I feel the angels surrounding us as they come through, and want to give gratitude that they are here to help us with this. So now I want you to go into your heart center, and I'd like for you to think of something really positive at this time. What can you bring to mind? A loved one, an animal, an experience? Maybe it was a warm hug that you can hold on to. Just hold that experience first into your heart, because that acts as kind of a buffer for going in and doing this really deep work. You're going to want to go that good vibration so that you can go in and pull into this inner part of you and really look at it in a raw and real way. So as you hold that positive energy, did it put a smile on your face? Did it make you feel warm? That's what we want, for you to really get into a good place to begin to do the work. Now, the next step is for you to talk to your inner child. If you've never talked to your inner child before, just realize that we all have that inside of us. We have that part of us that has been there since we were born, that's gone through every experience that we have had. And I want you to ask your inner child. You may call your inner child by a name. You may just say, okay, I'm talking to you. Just ask that inner child to join you right now. Envision, if there isn't one, envision an empty chair beside of you, and ask your inner child to sit with you during this whole process, because we forget to give our inner child a voice sometimes. It may be in there saying, I need to talk. I need this. I need to really express myself. I need to be given a voice. So this is your chance. Bring that child out and say, okay, you're going to do this with me. You're going to help me to work on these emotions that's inside of me. So we'll give just a minute, and all of you just get in touch with that part of you that's deep inside, that's always there. That part that sometimes gets scared, sometimes gets happy, sometimes gets demanding. And just invite them. Invite them to be with you, to sit with you, and do this work with you. And now that you've connected with that inner child, just envision that you're holding their hand. This can be a scary process for anybody, but especially for that part of us deep inside that said, I know I've done it before. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to go there because it's too scary and it's too hard to deal with those emotions. But just know you're in a safe place to do that. This is a this is your time. You're really fully release these energies. I'm just going to give a second because I saw that my internet flickered. I'm asking the angels to keep this running smoothly. Okay, so now that we're sitting there with our inner child, what I want you to do is called a body scan. So you're going to start from the top of your head. This is your crown chakra, and you're going to scan all the way down your body and just look and see and feel, is there something in there that feels heavier than any other part in my body? Is there an energy that's maybe churning? Is there something that feels like it wants to come out? Maybe it's in your throat and you feel a tickle in your throat, or like there's something clogged in there. Maybe it's in your heart or in your solar plexus or in your root chakra. Because in the root chakra right now, that's our foundation. That's our center where everything about security and safety is being threatened. So just feel into where that one spot is, or there may be several hot spots inside of you where there's energy that it feels dense, it feels thick, it feels like it's not that lightness of spirit that's inside of you. And I want you to identify that inside of you. When you get there, just feel into it. What are you seeing? Is it heavy? Can you or more on just, okay, this is an irritating thing? That would be a 1. So somewhere in there, just measure where this energy is as it's sitting inside your body. I'll give you a minute to do that. I feel a little bit of shakiness, so let's take a deep breath in as you're doing all of this, getting in touch with that emotion. Focus on that breath because that will bring you back to center. So now envision that you can reach your hand inside of your body, wherever you're feeling that energy that it's sitting. Reach in there and pull that energy outside of you and hold your hand outstretched and place that energy right there in your hand. So you're going to be holding the energy in front of you. You're going to really have to use your visualization here. You pulled it out, and you can pull several. If there's more than one part, pull them out. Pull them out of you and put them in your hand. Coming out of bodies right now, and your inner child is sitting there in awe, just watching this. I can just feel that energy of release happening already, where the inner child is saying, wow, we had all that stuff in there. It felt kind of crowded in there with all those emotions. I want you to look at that energy that you're holding in your hand. Really look at it. What does it look like? What color is it? What shape is it? And how heavy does it feel in your hand? Does your hand want to just fall down under all the weight of what you're holding? It may feel hot, it may feel cold, it may not feel anything, and you may not even be able to do the visualization, and that's okay too. You can leave it inside of you if that's what's happening with you. This is your experience, and I want you to have the very best experience possible, so there's no limits on this. Okay, so as you have either held it in your hand or kept it close to you inside, we're going to start talking to this energy. And you're either going to say Ho'oponopono, or you're going to say these words: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And we're going to say this until there's a shift in that energy. So as you're focusing on that object in your hand, I want you to really focus on if anything changes as you say these words. Continue out loud to say these words. It's important to verbalize it, to let that energy of your voice go into the energy of the emotion. And then as you watch that shift happen, you may see things like the color change or the shape of it change. Some people eventually see it totally go away, disappear. So let's do the work. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Really pour that emotion in of love. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I'm hearing from me to hold space for you right now as you do your inner work. Talk to your object. Really pour energy into it to release that emotion that was trapped inside of you. As you're doing that work, I'm seeing the angels go to each one of you. I see some weeping. I see some people resisting and letting it go. If you're holding on to something out of a sense of that's the way you can control things, you're only hurting yourself by not opening up to the joy that comes with releasing it. Just let it go. They're showing me some of you with a huge suitcase full of emotions. There's so much swirling and going on inside of you. It's okay to leave that suitcase. Just put it down and let the angels take it. Let's do a check-in now. I want you to do the scan again. I want you to really look from head to toe and see if there's still some remnants of anything in there that needs to come out right now while you're here in this space, while the angels are surrounding us. You're in a safe place to do this work. Just scan throughout your body and see if there's still something that feels a little heavy. I'm feeling someone's heart that just is having a hard time releasing all of that, the wall that's been built so that you don't get hurt again. Things from the past, some things that have been there for so long. It's like ancestral energy that's in your DNA. Tell it it's okay to come out. It's okay to be released. Let's all say that Ho'oponopono one more time to anything that might still be lingering. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Big breath in and out. And just do a check-in of how you're feeling. Do you feel lighter? Did the energy go, or is there still some of it there? It's okay to, this is a process. So maybe it didn't go all at once, and that's okay. You can go back in and continue to do that on your own later. So as long as there was something that started coming loose for you, that's the important part. And hopefully you're able to relax and give into it and let it go, surrender it. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. So this process of release, what we just did, I liken that to doing a spiritual surgery where you went in, you pulled something out of your energy field and took it completely away from you. That's what surgeons do when they go into us, right? When there's something that has to be cut away, they go in and cut that part out. Well, when they do that, there's an opening that has to be closed back up. So that's what we're going to do right now. So feel into where you pulled that energy out of you. Those places inside where you pulled it out, whether it was in your throat chakra, your heart center, your solar plexus, your root chakra, wherever it was in your body, just go into that energy field right now. And we're going to ask Archangel Michael to come in. And we're asking for Michael to cut any cords, any ties, any remnants of what you gave away from you at this point. That energy that you said, I'm turning it over, I'm surrendering it, I don't want it anymore. We're asking Michael to cut that cord and just really cut out anything that's there, any tie emotionally. And giving gratitude for Michael for doing that to every one of us right now that did the work. And then we're going to call on Archangel Raphael and ask Raphael to come in and seal that part of us up, cauterize it so that there's no more pain. It's cauterized, so there's nothing there to hurt. There's nothing there to feel a pull or a tug. If we try to look at it, it's gone. It's gone from of, or that you just want to let go of so you can feel freedom. It's all about surrendering to the freedom. Okay, I think I froze again for just a moment. So I'm just going to give it a minute to come back in so that I'm talking to you. Okay, I think I'm back now. So every day it's important to do the scan and see if there's anything else. But we're going to finish the process first. So now you've got your inner child sitting there that's gone through this whole experience with you. And you're going to reintegrate your inner child into your energy. Just ask him or her to come back in, knowing that it's safe, knowing that the energy in there feels really good and yummy right now. And it's like a playground inside where your inner child can go in and feel comfortable. And if they want, snuggle up in a corner and be ready to be read to or sung to. So feel that experience of reintegrating with your inner child, bringing all your fragments back together again. And reassure your inner child. Reassure that you are going to take care of you and your inner child. You're going to do the scans. You're going to look and see what's inside of you that you no longer want to hold on to, and that this is a very safe place to be in, very safe for you and your experience. Now, anytime that you clear out energy, you're making room for something really great to come into your life. You can manifest. So envision what you would like to manifest right now. What do you want to bring to you? Do you want to bring peace? Do you want to bring freedom? Whatever that is, just hold that right now, that you can bring that in. And I'm going to go to Kevin in just a minute, but I want you to hold in your heart this mantra that the angels gave us this morning. And the mantra is, I am peace. I am peace. Feel that now that you've done this work, now that you've cleared away energy, let's all feel into our hearts and say, I am peace. And let that peace cover you totally. Peace and love. That's where we want to be as we go into this angelic Reiki healing that Kevin is going to bring to us. And really feel that energy as he guides us to that place where we can feel the angels working. They're still with you. They're still here. We called them in. Your spirit guides are there. God is in this. I feel God source energy working with all of us to do this process together and to do this release. So thank you. Thank you for doing your inner work. Thank you for experiencing this. And now you have this tool in your toolbox. So anytime that you need to go in and do a clearing, you have the experience of really seeing how it works. And now you can do it at any time on your own. It's a beautiful process to do. And if you want to do it with somebody else, find somebody that will sit with you as you do the process, or at least hold your hand virtually. So Kevin, I'm going to ask you to unmute your microphone. And just to let you all know, we will have a time of processing after the Reiki treatment. So whatever you felt, whatever experience you had with the release, just hold on to that. We'll remember it when we come back together after the treatment, the Reiki treatment, and we'll all talk about what happened how it was for us. Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello, Teri. Thank you very much. I feel very relaxed after that, to be fair. Thank you very much, Teri. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's quite important with what Jeryl Anne was saying as well, with the acknowledgement of our emotions. You know, and it's okay to be, you know, to go back and forth, because that's the whole point why we're born in these human bodies, is to feel these emotions. And it was lovely, you know, from that going on to yourself, Teri, to try and release, you know, these emotions the best we can. And like you say, you know, we may not release it all at once. There may be stuff still there, which is fine, because obviously, you know, the way I look at it, you know, emotions create these dense energies. Some emotions are a lot harder than others. But what I'd like to do today is, like you say, Teri, you know, you've released this dense energy now and it's left space. So hopefully I can pour some more light in and replace where that dense energy is being, and maybe cleanse a little bit more along the way, the best we can. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all, once I give Teri the cue to play the music, because I can't play the music because we had a little slight problems with that before the show. Basically, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just get yourself as comfortable as possible. I will send the healing. And how long have we, Teri, don't mind me asking, how long would you like me to continue with this? Because obviously you got to ask for questions, etc. How long would you say?
The music plays for, I think, almost 20 minutes, Kevin.
Okay, so I'll give it 15, 20 minutes healing. And then obviously, I'm just wondering, have you got time for the questions at the end, or seeing people's, we're not pushed for time, basically. That's what I'm asking.
Well, we had set the workshop for an hour and a half.
Okay.
So we'll have time.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so while Teri's froze, I'll continue to talk. Okay, so but like I say, all I want you to do is just take a few deep breaths, get yourself as comfortable as possible, and I will start the healing once Teri plays the music. And then at the end, I will talk quietly, and basically we'll discuss your experiences at the end. So I'm ready when you are, please, Teri. Thank you very much. So close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Just relax, that you're going to go into a meditative state. Thank you. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Relax. Thank you. Thank you. How was that, Teri?
Beautiful, just
Thank you.
beautiful. So let's allow everybody a moment to come back to the physical. Just take a breath in, start to feel your physical body wiggle your fingers and your toes. Kevin, thank you for that experience.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on again, Teri. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. So for those of you that are watching in Facebook, thank you for being with us, or YouTube. And I see some people that are giving gratitude for this. So we did have people participating other than those that are in the Zoom. But we are going to now disconnect from the live stream so that we can spend a little time just processing what we experienced here today. So I'm going